Yes, guys, welcome back to Testosterone Tales, episode 11. And before we go any further, it's really, really important to us that you guys could subscribe and like this video. It will mean the world to us.
We just started a new channel before the videos were on my channel, but now we've got the Testosterone Tales channel. So any support is really greatly appreciated. So give it a like, give it a subscribe. Thank you. Straight in there, mate. Straight in there, right? I've got a question for you, okay? Straight to the point. James Underwood. Now, I know you. I've known you, what, 5+ years? But why the fuck should people watching listen to you?
Wow. What a good question.
Why the fuck?
Because I turn normal people into Avengers.
Ooh.
We turn normal people into superheroes is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this coming up to 14, 15 years now.
Wow.
Well, you don't have, but they don't.
I actually didn't know it was that long. You're actually, you predate me as well. You've been doing it a long time.
I'm an OG gym floor personal trainer.
Yeah.
So I was training in the days like way back. So I've seen it all. I've seen all the trends. I've seen, I was, right when social media was taking off, all the way through the lockdown situation where all the personal trainers then went online. I continued personal training. I refused to kind of transition over. Obviously I still do online coaching now, but I'm a hybrid PT, So I do one-to-one in the gym in person, and I do online as well, whereas you're fully online. Yeah,
but knowing you and knowing your personality, I really think that it suits you that way around as well. You need to do the in-person stuff as well. I need to.
The time side of it kills me, and everyone always said, oh, for the money, you need to go online and all the rest of it. But I adore being on a gym floor, and it's how I've met everyone.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you on Craig Madden's phone when we were training in lockdown.
Yeah.
And you showed me all the videos of you in your back garden doing all the 300 kilo squats and on the bins and everything. And then obviously you came to King's Gym in Falmouth, and that's when I met you. And I thought, well, it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess why they should listen to you is that you've got the experience that you've worked with how many fucking people? Like so many fucking people. You've been there, you've done it, you've seen it, right?
So like something that pisses me off, and we'll go straight into the slagging contest of the coaches, is every coach will say, oh, I've done 1,000 transformations, all the rest of it. Yeah. I have legit got over 500 transformations, like actual, mind-blowing transformations where you go, holy shit. Yeah. Like over 500 of those, and I could go onto my phone, go onto my laptop, and I could send them to anyone. I've over 500 examples of completely different people, different ages, different backgrounds, different problems, and I could go change that life, change that life, change that life, change that life. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, someone else has had your problems and I've solved them.
I think it's a testament as well to your longevity, mate. Like you're someone who's obviously very passionate about it.
You have to be. If you're not, you get exposed.
Yep. Oh, I agree on that one as well, yeah. And you've worked with so many different types of person as well. So there's a lot of times people have got like anecdotal experience, and they'll say, well, it worked for me and a friend of mine did this. But you've I know me as well, but I'm just focusing on you at the moment. Yeah. You've worked with legitimately so many people with varying different ailments, varying different levels, varying different strengths, whatever it is.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
There's no, and you're the same. And I think that's why we vibe a lot on this, but there's no better feeling than seeing like people come to you with big problems, you solve them, and you see their life do this inside and outside the gym.
Do you know what? The yin and yang of life, right? Because anything that good is also that bad, right? So people that get a great result, it's fucking amazing, right? But then you and me, we often bond on this. In fact, the annoying stories where you just can't get through to someone, it's just so frustrating. So anything that good is also equally that bad, right? It's kind of the way life goes.
You've got your reds, you've got your greens.
Reds and greens, correct. But look, on that note, I want to actually go into your own credentials, right? And when I say credentials, what I'm referring to is your lifts. Like the brass tacks of it. Why did you even get into it? Yeah, so like
I love this.
Biggest lifts. So give me like your biggest squat, bench, deadlift, or specific movements in the gym that you really excelled at.
Okay, so just crazy shit.
Whatever it is.
So I did a 700 kilo leg press in King's Gym, and it wasn't one of those 700 kilo leg presses where they're like half reps. The knees were coming all the way back, all the way to the top. Anyone who's been in King's Gym in Falmouth, it's a hammer strength leg press. You can load this motherfucker up. I had literally every plate in the gym on this leg press. I had a spotter to the left of me, to the right of me, and someone behind me filming me. On about the 6th or 7th rep, I was actually having a nosebleed in the middle of a set. And you can only, I'm not promoting this. I'm not saying this is shit you should do, but that's a leg movement, right?
Of course.
RDL'd over 300 kilos in good form, full range of motion. This one, I don't think I've got the video because I've tried searching it, but I know you were there and you can vouch for it.
I remember.
Also in
this is off camera. He's already said it. Off camera.
This is an incline barbell bench press, and I did a rest pause set with 160 kilos. So it was a 5-3-1. So basically, I unracked the bar with 160 kilos on it, incline pressed it 5 times, all the way to your neck, all the way to the top, locked out. 5 reps, rack it. You count 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You unrack it. You do another 3 reps. You rack it 10 seconds and then do another rep. Racked it. 5-3-1, 160 incline barbell bench.
Legit.
I remember doing it at the time and thinking, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then afterwards, looking back, I'm like, that is the craziest shit I've ever seen. And even myself, I was like, fuck. You know what's funny is at the time, I don't think I was like that bothered by it. If I could go back and do that again, I'd do that every week.
Yeah. The peak strength that you were ever at, you're not always at, right? And I think this is something that is hard to come to terms with sometimes.
Yeah, and I loved the strength side of it. Oh. I'm not a powerlifter, wasn't a strongman. I just absolutely, I got into training because I loved getting strong, right? It wasn't really initially about how to look. It was more about how much can I lift. I want to go into a gym and I will lift more with my friends. And I know you're exactly the same. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why actually there was many reasons, but we bonded over that. I think because it was like that send it style training.
100%.
That fuck it, let's go for it.
100%.
And when we train together, we're kind of like that.
Yeah, because every time we're not going to do ego today. Every time we train together, there's some fucking, there's always like, oh, well, I beat you on that. It's just the way it is. And both of us grew up loving strength. And I don't care what anyone says. Well, do you know what? To each their own, right? But for me, there's nothing like that feeling. Going in there, doing machines and pump work. Yeah, it's cool. It's got its place, but there's nothing like, the sets that give you anxiety before you do them. If you're a boxer, you don't go into the gym and spend all your sparring and doing drills because you're not going to fight.
Correct.
Right? Yep. If you're a boxer, eventually you're training because you want to have a fight.
Yep.
Because you like fighting.
Yep.
If you're a bodybuilder, you want to go into the gym, you obviously want to compete, but you also want to test your strength. Every single person in the world at some point is going to go, oh, what can you bench? Well, they are though, aren't they? Of course.
And
everyone goes, no, it doesn't matter. Of course it fucking matters. It matters.
Oh, listen, the only people that say it doesn't matter.
It matters.
Who says it doesn't matter?
Oh, so many of them.
The fucking small motherfuckers, right? The weak motherfuckers, yeah? Fucking hell. They're like, it doesn't...
I said it. There we go.
Go on, say it again, please.
No. Gay.
Mate, the only people that say it doesn't matter, I truly...
As soon as they say that, I tune out. I'm like, I'm not interested. We're built differently. That's fine. No, you go over there into that corner.
No, but I'm even going to go one further than that. They're literally just lying. It's not that we're built different. They're lying.
Yeah.
Men... 99.999% of men.
If they could lift it, they would do that.
Exactly. 99.999% of men want to be strong.
Yeah.
Even my brother and his mates, none of them are all gym guys, right?
Yeah.
There's loads of them. He's got a big group of friends, yeah?
Yeah.
They're a little bit older than me and stuff. When they're together, someone does some chin-ups and then they're like, who can beat that? Who can beat that? Then they do arm wrestling. Who can beat him? And then they do press-ups. Who can do the most? That's what men do.
But do you not find there's 2 types of blokes? There's blokes who thrive like that. They're in a competitive environment and it makes them try harder. And then there's blokes in a competitive environment like that and it actually pushes them away.
And okay, I know the answer to this. And why do you think they are pushed away by that?
Because they're threatened or they feel it's too far away from them.
Because they can't.
Yeah, but
so let's say,
but a lot of there's been a lot of instances where I've been in those environments and I can, and I'm not able to, and then I've gone away and gone right. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go away and do it.
Inspiration,
right? Exactly. You're inspired, not deterred.
Yeah. Now I concede that not everyone will necessarily change their ways to try and become stronger. I'll concede that, but in that moment, right, when everyone's doing chin-ups in a group of lads, if you're nowhere near the best, you're not likely to be that into it. Whereas if you are competitive, it's very likely that you're going to be like, let's go, motherfucker.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So very often when guys say, oh, I'm not really like that, it's because you can't.
100%. I love shooting. I love go-karting. Mm-hmm. If we go go-karting, in my head, I will spend the week before thinking who's going, I'm going to beat them.
You're too big to go-kart.
No, bro, this is another misconception. And anyone who knows anything about driving or go-karts will know this, okay? If you're light, it's actually problematic because you're scared about.
Really?
If you're heavy, you're actually pushing down on the back wheels.
Better torque.
You better torque and you get better traction. Anyone who knows anything about racing will know this. Actually being a heavier guy in a go-kart.
That sounds like bullshit, James.
It's not power to weight ratio.
That sounds like bullshit,
not
really?
Power to weight. Yeah, you can fucking floor it around the corners. So full throttle around the corners, you'll stick. Whereas the lighter guys will lose control.
So when I went go-karting and I didn't win and I used that as my excuse, am I just bullshitting?
You are bullshitting. You're bullshitting.
Shattered my dreams, bro. Shattered my dreams.
Bullshit.
But anyway. go back. Have we got any more gym lifts that you're sort of proud of? Want to sort of pump him?
There's loads. Like, I'm a strong presser. You're a strong presser as well. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of guys struggle with that. You've either got it or you haven't with pressing. So any squatting, so I'm talking about full body pressing. So anything where you're pushing a weight away from your body. Squats, leg presses, bench presses, overhead presses. I was always a good pusher. I can move shit away from me.
What could you shoulder press straight?
Above my head, barbell.
Barbell, yeah.
130.
Oh, strict. Good, very good.
Not with like, maybe with like 1 foot behind me, not arching your back.
And no leg drive.
No leg drive.
That's strong.
Yeah.
That's strong. I'll give you that.
I always found I was actually stronger on incline movements than the flat movements.
I was about to say that. I remember that about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are an incline guy, not a flat guy.
I feel safer as well.
After watching, what's his name? Ryan. Do you remember that guy? With
Ryan Crowley.
Ryan Crowley.
Yeah.
After watching that.
Don't play around with Larry Wheels. You get
the Larry curse, right?
You find out.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out.
But yeah, okay. For me,
you were thinking I was gonna do something, I mean.
Yeah, I did. I thought you were gonna fucking
have a bit of sweat.
Squat, bench, deadlift. Yeah, so I actually powerlifted before. I think you know, maybe you don't know. I did one power meet as well.
You did some powerlifting whilst you were competing in bodybuilding.
I did, yeah. I just did it simultaneously.
Yeah. Which powerlifters, by the way, powerlifters hate bodybuilders. They fucking hate them.
So 2018, April 2018, I did a meet. And the day of the meet, the day after, my prep started for my show. Anyway, I went there. I didn't know how to work the bench. You know, like a specific bench. Like it's got like the little, like, what number are you, bro? On bench. I said, what does that mean? They were so pissed off because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of their crew.
No.
It was annoying.
Clicky. It's clicky as fuck.
Very clicky. More so than bodybuilding.
More so
than bodybuilding. Yeah. Sorry, squat, bench, and deadlift was a thing for me. So I squat 320 free weight. I might have a video for it. I'm pretty certain I've got.
Is that in a competition setting? Is that ever?
In the gym.
In the gym, yeah.
Ever. These are my best ever. In a competition, I've done 300, 200, 300. Best ever, 320, 230, 320.
230 on a bench.
230 on a bench, flat bench. Yeah.
That's sick. That's crazy. That's nutty. Anything over 200 kilos, you're a freak.
Hey, and listen, what was mad is that I actually benched 220 10 years ago, yeah? And for the first time I ever did, I remember when I did it. And in my mind, I was like, I can do this already. I thought to myself, look, in 5 years, where the fuck am I going to be? I remember thinking to myself, I'll be at 250, 260, 270, whatever. Because it was just going up all the time. And I never really got past it.
I think most players
get
a sticking point with bench. And it's both mental and physical.
For me, I certainly lost my nerve. I partially tore a pec. And I lost my nerve after that. I was never quite the same again.
Yeah, I remember you partially tore it about a week after training with me, you know.
Correct. In King's Gym. So after we did that session,
how we go back about how we used to do shit and we'd fucking... like what potentially contributed. You were very lean though. That was contest prep.
I was
2 weeks out.
I was 2 weeks out.
Like,
and I wanted to prove.
What were you doing? Doing a 1 rep max.
Yep.
2 weeks out.
Because 2020, before COVID happened, literally just before COVID happened, I was about 2 or 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
And I pause repped a 200 kilo bench. Video here.
Coming down nice and slow.
You'll see in the video. And I was incredibly lean on like 150 grams of carbs. And I pause repped 200.
Yeah, it did move well.
It moved fine.
We'll see in the video.
Yeah, it moved fine. Yeah. And then with you, I thought to myself, like, I want to see if I can replicate that.
Yeah.
So I was 2 weeks out. You and me trained on like the Wednesday.
We did 190.
Again on the 190. I did 200, you did 190.
Yeah. And then we did a 140 max rep. You beat me on that.
Correct.
I'll let him have that.
And then on the Saturday after the Wednesday, I went and as I was warming up 180 on there, I had every intention to do a 200 plus.
Yeah.
180.
Were you winding up to that in your head?
Yeah.
Yes, so you're quite relaxed at this point, 100%. And that's where you felt something.
Came down and I went down to about here and I lit like Velcro in my pec.
Like a pluck?
No, like a tear, not
really,
a pluck.
like Velcro starting to pull off.
Yep. And I literally shouted, whoa. I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time and she just racked it for me, thankfully. Oh my God, if I'd gone down all the way, it would have come off.
That'd been game over.
So that's, here's another one little added in there as well. I think one of the reasons why you first were aware of me was my barbell row.
Yeah, barbell, you were the row guy. But it reflects in your back development.
I guess so. But then my bench doesn't reflect in my chest development, but that's another story. Yeah, so I could do 220 for 15, 220 kilos for
on a
15
barbell
reps
row.
on a barbell row.
Let's just think about that for a second. Yeah, most guys can't even RDL that for double digits, let alone row it.
I will say
digits.
though, the form is a little bit ropey, but I'll tell you what, if anyone thinks it's easy,
by all
means give it a go. Give it a go.
And that's the thing. Guys will come and do, oh, you're doing barbell and you've got a little bit of a swing. Like get any of them to stay in that position, come down, stay in that position with 220 kilos and try and row it once.
Yeah.
In good form, once.
I'm telling you now, those sets used to kill me, like in a good way. Like not as in any negatives. They were so demanding.
Yeah.
Doing that for 15 reps was...
Do you think, and was that then negatively impacting the rest of your session?
No.
Were you neurologically fucking yourself?
No. You
could do it.
For some reason, yeah. Like now I feel like maybe not, but then yes.
Do you still barbell row now?
I do, but my lower back doesn't allow it.
Does that bother you?
Very much so.
Because that was your lift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
I can do like 180 for 10 now, but I'm very mindful. Like I don't really swing anymore.
I don't like, and you'll know this, but if I have a training program that doesn't have barbell rows in or some kind of incline benching, it bothers me because I love both those exercises.
It's something to get your teeth.
I feel like I'm not trained my back unless I've barbell rowed, and I've not trained my chest unless I've the incline pressed.
I think that comes from our background, man. It comes from our background. We enjoy the strength stuff, so that has to be in there.
Has to be in there.
It's almost like we do like this hybrid of powerlifting /
do you know what I mean? Probably is both our training styles.
Yeah.
There has to be an element of strength in there.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Even if it was more optimal to not do that, I wouldn't enjoy it.
I've had to come away from the real heavy stuff and I definitely don't enjoy it the same way. So yeah. It's just one of the things, man. But try not to get injured, you know what I mean? But hey.
Let's just touch on injuries for a second. What's the worst injuries you've had?
Oh.
Name the top 3.
Pec tear, but never fully off.
Yeah.
Pec tear. Second one would be, the first time I tried to squat 300. So I didn't actually do it. I unracked it and there was just a slow wiggle in my lower back.
Lower back went spasming. You shit yourself.
Wow. I couldn't actually move. Like I was in agony for about 2 days. Like panicking. Panicking.
Did it last, was there like a residual spasm in your back for a couple of weeks after that?
Nope.
No, so you got away with it.
No, I got away with it. But for about 2 days, it was extreme.
Yeah.
I thought I had to go to hospital. Like it was extreme, really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Pec tear that. And then the other one is not really an injury, but it's like something that's really debilitating is the spondylosis that I've got.
Yeah. Explain to everyone what that is.
So in your thoracic spine, so C4 to C7 for me, is nerves. They come from your spinal column and they go out to like your arms and your pecs.
So from your neck moving out into your arm, so behind you.
That's right. Yeah. So imagine up my spine and then out of each like hole within your vertebrae come nerves.
Yeah.
And mine are smaller because of bone spurs. So basically bones have grown there, extra bone spur.
Yeah.
And created...
you can get them on your shoulders actually.
Correct.
You can get that coming out on your shoulders and it causes an impingement.
Anywhere where there's like a junction point, like your hip as well. Yeah. So now my nerves are being impinged. And
which is then causing referral pain or reducing power.
Reducing power and reducing size.
So, because you can't contract your muscles, so it atrophies.
Exactly, yeah. So my tricep and pec, I actually believe one of the reasons why my pec doesn't grow properly is that.
I remember when you were going through that and that actually really fucked you off. Like I could see that was bothering you because you were kind of in that stage where you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to come back from this.
Definitely.
I remember you being in that phase.
Bro, it's actually the hardest thing I've been through in all of my gym. Yeah. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest
Which for people watching is like, you guys get injured, but you remember this is like Ryan's life.
Yeah.
Like his source of income and his only hobby. So, when you're faced with that, it's like when athletes, they, I don't know, they go off the rails when they either lose or, they retire. They don't know what to do themselves.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I felt like as well, though, it took away the thing that I loved. And I don't just mean training. I mean heavy training.
Yeah.
So now I would say I'm probably like 80 to 90% of what I was.
I totally understand that, mate. I totally understand that.
It's like, fuck, it's murder, mate. It's fucking murder. So that's my top 3. Over to you.
The 4 things I've done to fuck myself up really badly. The first one was actually pulling, I tried pulling 290 kilos off the floor. This was years and years back. We're going back like, oh my God, probably about 10 years ago now. And I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't warmed up for it. Got it about halfway up my shin. And then I felt like bubble wrap. When you pop in bubble wrap, I felt 2 little pops in my back, let go of the bar straight away. And then I could not tie my own laces for about 3 weeks. I couldn't bend down. I couldn't take my socks off. And and I'd compressed L3, L3, L4, L5 in my back really badly. Saw a chiropractor. He ended up doing a couple of adjustments.
All right, nice deep breath through your nose. Just 3.
It eased off after that. That was horrendous. Like that was like 6 months ago. I've got a bad back. And ironically, I spent years after that getting strong on my back, and now it's like
you don't have that problem now, do you?
I have no problems doing any of that now.
Okay.
But I think I obsessed over so much rehabbing it that it was like, I'm going to turn this into a strength. And then I tore my patella tendon on lockdown training with Craig Madden in a gym that we weren't supposed to be training in the middle of lockdown.
Squats,
that was a hack squat. Again, ego lifting. I was training with a guy who was obviously more advanced than me and trying to lift more than him. And I did. And then I tore my patella tendon. And that was really bad.
Worth it.
Yeah, obviously. But I didn't have a video, which pissed me off. So got the video beating you.
He didn't beat me.
Listen, if you've got the receipts, it's all good. But that was really, really bad. My leg fully atrophied. You will not believe how quickly, if you damage your knee, how quickly your quadricep atrophies. Like you spend months and years building your legs, and you can watch day by day, like a month of work disappear. Your legs will literally wither so quickly when you're not using them. And then this isn't an injury from a gym. This is a liver injury from excessive drug use and just completely trashing my body. I completely trashed my liver in 2022. This came to like a peak. And I pretty much had to stop training, as you remember, for like six months to a year. I was being tested for like liver cancer and everything. And we've talked about this on a previous podcast, but I've got, it's called focal nodular hyperplasia. So I have like multiple small tumors on my liver from all the damage that I caused, and they're irreversible. So now there's a lot of things I can't do. It affects my digestion, all the rest of it. That's permanent. So I've managed to get myself back in a position now where I'm healthy again, but there's certain things I just can't push. And there's a lot of things in bodybuilding where you do need to push. And I know in order to take the piss at certain points, I can't do that. So it's like always it's always like training it and going only up to 3rd gear or 4th gear and trying to get the most out of your body when really you need to unlock 5th or 6th gear. And I can't train at those levels because of the amount of food I could eat, potentially because of the amount of drugs I could potentially take. I can't do that anymore. So Ryan will know this from a food side of it. I can't push food too high. I'll get really distended. And obviously there's certain drugs that are just a no-no. Can't really do trenbolone, can't really do orals. And that's because I smashed myself in my earlier years. So when I'm talking to other guys and about advising them what to do, what not to do, I literally can speak from experience because I abused everything like in my 20s and I paid the price. I wish I could go back and change that, and I can't. So like all I can do is pay it forwards by making sure you guys do the right thing. And then lastly, I've got a double labral tear in my right shoulder. Which
doesn't affect anything apparently.
Which is fucking mental. John Ramsey at Time Wellness Physio, he said to me, he's in his like 15 years of being a physio, he's never seen anyone with a single labral tear not require surgical intervention. I've got a double labral tear in my right shoulder, and I couldn't take that was from incline benching. I think 3 plates doing something daft. And I couldn't even take my my towel off the back of the door. This wasn't even long ago, about 2 years ago. And I thought I was done then as well. There's like three separate occasions where I was like, I'm never training again. I've fucked it. That's me now. I'm finished.
Yep.
And here we are. Back to full strength. I can externally rotate a shoulder totally fine. My right shoulder, I can't. If I go past that point, you'll hear it crunch.
That's so risky. Like when you're doing any sort of like pressing now,
but I can press the 60s, press the 70s, no problem. Incline press, no problem. Overhead press, no problem. But I won't be able to throw a ball with this right arm.
Right.
Because it twists like that. And if I sleep at bed at night, I can't. I'm not sleep on that side.
Yeah.
But on the whole, it's all good.
Yeah, good as you, mate. Both of us. Jesus Christ. Right. Yeah, so I wanted to move on now away from our self-indulgent chat there and go into a little bit of client conversation, right? So you and me, we're dealing with clients all day, every day. Something that I've come across quite a few times this week. It's triggered me, man. It's triggered me. It's going to trigger you as well. Trigger warning, okay?
Trigger warning.
Right. I get guys who the moment they're in any sort of discomfort, whether it's they're dieting down, they're going up, the moment things get hard, they just start changing things to basically soften the blow for them.
Example.
Hopefully he doesn't watch. I'm not going to name names, but there's this guy that is currently dieting down. When he was growing up, he kept just adding more food in because he goes, I kept freaking out, bro, because my weight wasn't going up. I'm like, just please stick to the plan. You don't need to do extras. You're doing enough. You know, he's gaining half a kilo a week. All good.
What do you think about, answer this question afterwards, but what do you think about people who are just obsessing on the scale?
I will get to that in a moment
Yeah.
then. So then now he's on his way down. And I said, please, when you're coming down, we're going to need to be really accurate, right? Because your accuracy determines how long this diet goes on, how successful it is, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And he tells me, don't worry, bro, I've got this. Last like 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago, he told me he'd just been adding in whey shakes. And he just said, just getting a bit high. He said it really casual, just off the cuff. And I was like, oh, so you're adding in, is that included within like what he goes, no. Just want to get a bit peckish. I'll just add in some whey.
What was his justification?
To prevent him from snacking.
Fucking double trigger. Snacks, fucking trigger.
So
snacks,
So the point being is, the irony, right? I'm not going to say snack again because I know it gets you going.
Oh, snacks,
gets you going. If you're a grown man, snacking, grow the fuck up, right,
it's
mate?
my fucking kryptonite.
So anyway, so the irony is he's snacking to avoid snacking. But his justification was it's healthy. But what he's doing is he's just shirking sort of discomfort, okay?
Yeah. He's gotten hungry, and that's part of the process of being in a calorie deficit. And rather than leaning into it and understanding that part of the process is that, he's trying to justify not being hungry by putting a bit of protein in because protein's all right.
Because it's protein, yeah.
I said, so therefore those calories aren't going to make me fat.
Yeah, it's that very thing. And then
but you've gone away and worked out his entire nutrition, all his meals, everything specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And he said to me as well, he said, how do I make things go faster? He said the week after, how do we speed this process up? I'm like, bro, do the fucking plan. And then he also said, you know, I'm feeling myself a tiny bit hungry before my sessions. You know, maybe I should have in like a cereal bar or something before the training sessions. Again, it's this like, why are you so scared of a bit of discomfort? It's okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to fucking die. If you're a little bit uncomfortable because you're a little bit peckish, that's okay.
Yeah. Is he when he was in is he in a dieting setting as well?
Right now, yeah. So he's lost 9 kilos, but he's still got probably, you know, conservatively another 5 to come off, probably another.
So the reality is, right? To bring him down, he's going to have to get really hungry compared to where he is now. And he's already showing signs of, I can't do it.
Well, I don't even believe he's uncomfortable. I don't believe he's actually uncomfortable. He's just, I think it's habitual. And I said to him, I said, what you're doing is you're telling yourself that it's okay to do that. And I think that's kind of like the psychology of it. Like he's just like, oh, you know, a bit of discomfort. He's not even uncomfortable.
Do you think, I think this, but I think a lot of our job is realigning people's perception of what uncomfortable actually is. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, you are on the fucking verge of a mental breakdown. You are starving. Like you are low blood sugar. Like if you took your bloods, it'd be like 2. You're sweating because you're going hypo. Yeah. And then 1 being like, I'm not hungry at all.
Yeah.
Like people will be at 6 and tell you they're at 10.
People have no perception of that.
They're like, I'm dying. I'm so hungry. And you're like, no, you're probably about 5.5, 6.
People dramatize this. It's called, I think it's called hyperbole. You know, I think that's more so when you're saying, oh, everyone says that, when not everyone says that, right? That's people kind of do that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I was so hungry.
Yeah.
I was so tired. Yeah. Because it makes it sound, I don't know, more dramatic, or it justifies bad actions, bad behaviors.
Yeah.
I ate off plan because I was so hungry.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I wasn't particularly hungry, but I just thought I'd eat off plan.
Yeah. I think.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And these people have probably been out of shape for 10 years? They've probably been fat for 10 years, living in a maintenance or a surplus. So this is the first time they're actually experiencing sustained deficit, where they're actually feeling just a bit of hunger. But in their eyes, the alarms are going off in their head going, oh my God, I'm starving. There's a famine. No, there's not. Calm down. You're just a bit hungry and it's part of the process.
Yeah.
But for us, I find a big part of our job is trying to deliver that in the right way. And the issue I've got is, and I'm always trying to gauge this, is how I deliver that to that client.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to suss out, can they take, some people just need telling directly and others need like a little bit of a bit of
foreplay.
Yeah, a bit of foreplay. And like, if I'm making the same mistake over and over again, you've got to be more direct.
Yeah,
but then what will they do then? They'll play the mental health card.
Hey, we are not mental health experts, blah, 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 blah. Everyone gets so triggered as soon as you talk about this subject. But we said off camera, we said this. It's basically a get out of jail free card. It can basically
1000%.
You can make mistake after mistake after mistake, then just say mental health.
Yeah.
And then now no one can question you.
Yeah.
Now you're immune to it. You're immune from it.
It's you waving the white flag going, you can't, it's bad if you fucking tell me that's not all right.
Exactly. But my mental health was struggling. Look, I'm sorry. Feeling certain feelings is normal. Yeah. If you feel a bit of anxiety, that's normal.
Yeah.
20 years ago, when people felt anxious, they just felt anxious and that was okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But now it's like a sick note.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
100%.
Now I need time off work. I need everyone to mollycoddle me.
100%.
And actually, do you know what? You need a bit of tough love.
Yeah.
Because the world is not like that. The world doesn't stop spinning because you feel a bit anxious.
People who've not been coached before often struggle to receive that critique because they see you as coming across as it's like almost a direct attack on them when actually you're trying to coach them. Whereas people who have been coached before or are a little bit just, they can take it, they respond really well to that because they take it on board and they implement it.
So interesting. So even what I've just said there will have triggered people. It will have factually, right? But do you feel like
just by, and it's a fact you had to go, we're not mental health. Just by the fact you've had to say that tells us the day and age we're living in.
Absolutely.
Like if you even mention the word mental health, there's going to be an army of people that will get offended. That's fine. This podcast's not for you. Go and tell me something nasty in the comments and unsubscribe. But for everyone else, carry on.
Yeah,
pay attention. You'll make progress.
Let's live in the real world.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that subject, so you said something there, and I really like the way you worded it. It's the coaching delivery method, right?
Yeah.
And you need to cater to a specific client. However, would you not say that there's a James Underwood way?
Yes.
And if you deviate too far there, you're almost
you're devaluing it. You're diluting it.
There you go. So it's almost like you need to understand that everyone's different, but also you need to be firm when you need to be firm, right?
Yeah, 100%. I did. I sent you a voice note that I sent to a client last week.
You did,
which old me wouldn't have done. New me does now. Like I literally, if you're, I don't know. I think this is probably maturity, and it's also like I've been doing this long now. I just don't actually have time for bullshit. And if I think you're bullshitting, I'll give you the direct approach. And if that's going to cost me, you going, it's not for me. This coaching thing's not for me. That's fine. No worries. The door's there. It didn't work out. No problem. Like I coach from a place of love and I coach from a place of wanting the best for my clients. But like, I want to be your coach, not your friend. I want to be your coach first. If we become friends, great. But my job is to get the best result from you. And it's the same for you as well.
I think that's you worded that great. You worded that great. Honestly, I like that. If anything, being a good friend, which is the irony, is saying the truth sometimes.
100%.
And it might not feel good.
No.
But it's the right answer.
No, often we have to deliver the things that actually everyone in that person's life probably should be telling them. Because a lot of the time, these people, everyone in their life is validating all the bad decisions they're making. The drinking, the snacking, and it's all right and all the rest of it. Whereas we're often that one voice of that person going, actually, mate, you need to stop this. This is fucking life. This is why you're in this position over and over and over and over again. And we need to get through this just little uncomfortable phase of leaning into the hard stuff for you to get out the other side. But once you get out the other side, all these other people who are validating you will ask you how you did it.
Oh man, that's so true. It's like, it's character building, but people kick back because it's new to them. And do you know what I found as well? In fact, I touched on it a couple of podcasts ago. Sometimes people have never been told that. And I don't mean by their family or whatever, but they might have a job where they're not used to taking orders or they're not used to taking sort of direction like that. So it can be a bit of an ego hit as well. But very often though, sometimes the knife that hurts the most is the one because you know that it's like, true. There's some truth in it.
100%.
If I made a statement about you now, whatever the fuck it was, and it was so far from the truth, you're like, so what? Yeah. But if there's an element of truth there,
yes,
it's going to trigger you a little bit. Yeah. Right?
Half our job is calling people out on bullshit. And it is for you guys like watching, it is mentally draining for us. We have to charge our social battery up if our entire day is taking people who are missing the mark and pulling them back in line. Sometimes it's genuine mistakes because they don't know. And that's because we've not delivered the information correctly. And that's our problem. But very often, if we're delivering it and you're not implementing it, then that's a you problem.
Yeah, you said that in your voice note.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that in your voice note as well.
I literally did say it on my voice note.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Subconscious mind.
That's a you problem, yeah. And I think as well, like, you know, they're doing a certain thing, right? And this way of life is leading them down a really poor path, whether it's body composition, whether it's health markers, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They come to you because they need help. They're sick and tired of this shit. They come here for you, they listen, but then they revert back to default. It's because
they've been in that, and it's so fucking frustrating. It's because they've spent such a long period of their life in that place that default is really, really strong, like kind of automatic emotion. Pull. Like you have to really work to get them out of there. And the second they start deviating back, you have to pull them back in quick, because if you don't, they'll always go back to that. And the longer we can bring you out that place for and away from it, the easier it is to ingrain these new habits.
You know, that takes the skill. That's coaching in a nutshell. That's like really good coaching in a nutshell. Yeah. Being able to pull people away from what they used to, but not so far that it's really alien and unmanageable. Yeah. If you can get this new like way sustainable and enjoyable and engaging, but therein lies the skill. However, some people are not coachable, right? Those reds.
Yeah, you know what?
Those reds. You can try and try and try.
Mate, it's such a sweeping statement, that, but I actually did a video on this about 2 years ago saying no one is uncoachable. And I'm going to circle back to that, and I'm going to say actually some people are uncoachable. Yeah. Maybe at that point in their life. Yeah.
You ever heard that expression as well? Like 10% of people will take up 80% of your time or whatever it is, you know, because those hard ones, you're frustrating, you're trying so hard, but you're not getting in, or you're banging your head against a brick wall, man.
You've had 3 of those this week. I've had 2.
I actually had more, but I've had more. But okay, so coaching you're the exact opposite. You just go, da-da-da-da. It's very matter of fact. And I confirm it and you go, yes. And actually this takes me to my next point.
Well, I just do the plan.
Which is crazy, right?
Like, I just do the plan.
Do you know, it takes me to my next point. I made a reel on this. The other day. Why is it, mate? Why is it that people want changes non-stop, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, James, these are my results for the week. I lost this amount. I got stronger. I did. What changes? So what do you say to someone like that?
Mate, this is a huge subject, and I think every coach experiences this. I think there's a small number of coaches that are cop-outs that can't be asked to make changes, and that's definitely a thing. But I get this every week. I actually feel pressure sometimes if I've not made changes to a client for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, because they're actually making tremendous progress. But I feel like, because I'm not actually changing anything to their plan, I feel like, do I need to change something because they need to feel like something's changing, something's being done? But actually, changes only need to occur when things have stalled or things are not working. So if changes are being made like consistently by us every week, it's because something's going wrong. Either we've missed a mark, you've missed a mark, or we're trying to correct things that have gone wrong. If you're 4 or 5 weeks in and you're in a dieting phase, and every week scale weights drop down a tiny little bit, lifts are holding, progressing here or there, general feedback's okay, digestion's all right, you're getting a little bit hungrier, keep going, don't change. Weight's stalled or weight's gone up, right? What's happened? What do we need to do? Okay, so increase this, decrease that, change this. What's your feedback on this? How are you feeling about that? That's where the conversation comes in. That's where the adjustments need to be made. But I feel like, I mean, I've not had to change anything for over a month now.
Yeah.
But my weight's just gone ba-bum.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I don't really hear anyone say that. The thing you said about feeling pressure from the coach's perspective.
I feel that pressure.
I feel it too.
I feel that pressure.
Have you ever heard another coach say that?
No, because
I've not really heard that.
No, because they won't, because I just don't think they're transparent enough.
No.
I just don't think they will. Like, if a client is paying you on a month-by-month basis, and for a month you've not made any changes to the plan, both parties are probably going to feel like, I'd certainly do, and I'm always thinking, I wonder if they think what's going on because I've not changed anything. But the reason why that has happened in every single scenario will be because you as a client are making progress.
Yep. It's not because we are absent-minded. We're not just sort of like tossing it off. In fact, the act of not making a change is very much a specific decision, right?
Yeah.
And before you had a coach, I'm willing to bet you fucking people
things
like that.
Things are not going right.
No, you were chopping and changing, right?
Yeah.
You were progressing, but you were like, nah, some bloke down the gym told you to do this. Oh, okay. Some bloke told you to do that. Eat this, eat that, da-da-da. You're making changes, and that's what led you to the point where you needed help.
Stop it. Get some help.
Right?
Sometimes you literally need someone to say,
put that cookie down now.
Correct.
And then when we do make the change, it's me explaining why we've made it.
Yes.
You implement the changes, you see the outcome, and then you learn. And that is the coaching process. That is essentially the short and sweet of the job we have.
Correct.
And that is 15 years plus of experience doing what we do. It takes that long to understand that. You'll never learn that doing some certification. You'll never learn that in college. You learn that by doing this for years and years and years and working with so many people.
Hey, James, here's the reality as well, though. Let's say you get a client, they start with you and you make no changes for a month. What's the likelihood that they then drop off? You don't retain them as a client? Do you think that's more likely? Or if you had made numerous changes in that month, it's more likely they'll stay with you?
If they're making progress, they're not going to drop off. But I do
Interesting, because I think sometimes they might, because they'll go, I can do some, man. Do you not think? I don't know.
I've had that a couple of times. In fact, I've had a guy this week who actually messaged me and said, I just want to thank you so much. I've literally reached, in fact, I'm going to shout him out. His name's Tom Eckersley. He messaged me today. And I'm going to message you. I'm going to tell you to watch this podcast. And he actually messaged me today saying, I'm really happy where I'm at. I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve. Thank you.
Love that.
I just want to stay here where I am now. I don't feel like I need to do anything else. I'm just going to implement everything you've told me. Thank you. And I literally sat there and I was like, wow.
That's rare.
I was like, I rate that. I really respect you. Thank you. All the best.
So he's left you on that term. Is that what you said? Or he's staying with you on that term?
No, he's just left. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
We've reached the desired outcome.
Right. Okay.
I've coached him for over a year.
Is his name Tom?
Tom,
this is for you. Okay. Be mindful, my friend. Be mindful, because this can sometimes breed complacency.
Yes.
Thinking that you can just maintain what we are experiencing. My experience tells me that this is very, very hard to maintain. So, Tom, if you're listening, and hopefully you are, just be mindful, man, because it's very easy just to fall back into old habits or whatever. Yeah. Hopefully you don't, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The doors, I think also you have to, rather than trying to fight that and save that, you have to let them do the thing. And then when things start to become complacent, which inevitably they will, old habits will creep in. They have to come to that conclusion and realization themselves.
Good point.
And they will come back. Like,
good point.
I don't feel that I need a coach. I don't feel I need a coach from a knowledge point of view, but I have you as a coach because of the accountability, because I'm so busy in my own life with over 100 clients that I can just offset everything and just go, Ryan, you just send me what I need to do and I'm just going to do it. Because that is so effective for me. So if I'm doing that with all the knowledge I have and all the experience I have, you guys who are not coaches, who are, you're out there in the world doing your own thing. If I can say that I need that accountability and that's effective and useful for me, like, it's absolutely going to be effective and useful for you.
Well, look at you, someone with your level of experience, your level of strength, all that stuff. You got complacent. You really did. Do you remember when you first began? Your words were like, I can't believe this has happened. Own it. Yeah.
Just own it.
Well, there we go. So,
and I am because also not just that, if I don't follow the plan, I'm wasting your time. I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my money. And these are all things that are not okay with me.
Yep.
And that will bother me. And also, you're not my mates. I don't want to piss you around. I don't want to waste your time. So having that pressure on my head is positive reinforcement.
I know I said this before, but the funny thing is what we just said, I do because you're my mate and I want to make sure that you feel like I'm properly invested, but there's no issues. So I keep feeling like there's pressure, but you just keep progressing.
Well, this is a perfect example for you guys.
That's exactly it.
It's the same thing. It's no different.
Right. Next subject, my friends. The enhanced games. For those that don't know what that is, there's been an event. Yeah, it's hot in here. Jesus.
Just so you guys know, we are cooking right now. I don't know why I'm wearing tracksuit bottoms. Let's just do a sweatshirt.
I'm wearing grey.
Why did you wear? He walked in with a grey shirt, and I just thought,
sweat challenge. Who's more?
No, I'm dripping.
You're actually winning.
I'm actually cooking under here.
I just got a drip down my
You're a
arse
forehead sweater. I'm a back sweater. You touch my back right now, it's beading. It's beading, like you're beading.
Horrible. Anyway. Right, enhanced games. It's I don't even know that much, but what I do know is it's that basically drugs are sanctioned in this specific event. So they've done sort of track and field events.
It's essentially most of the events at the Olympics, from what I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So track and field events with sanctioned drug usage, so steroid usage. So what is your opinion of that?
Poor performance enhancing drugs in general. So I actually think there are, from the limited bits I have read and I've seen, they do have some limits. There are some limitations.
Because it's what's FDA approved.
Right.
Okay, so Trenbolone, Boldenone are not FDA approved.
So the veterinary drugs they can't be using.
Correct.
But the drugs the drugs are in medicine for various actual pharmaceutical reasons. Are allowed. So essentially it's like the Olympics. However, all the competitors are free to use whatever performance and enhancing drugs they like.
And I think the result, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was a little bit inconclusive because not all the best athletes were doing it because they don't want to be seen going down that road. So you're not getting the creme de la creme of the athletes.
Because, all the best athletes don't want to do it because then they'll never be able to compete in sport.
That's what I'm saying.
Again.
They don't want to go down that avenue because now it tarnishes with them that brush, right?
Yeah.
So it's too risky for them to give up their career to do this thing.
And there was actually a lot of world records that were not broken.
That's what I was about to say. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So what does that tell us? Does that tell us that steroids don't do anything, or does it tell us that everyone's already using? Do you know what I mean? So they're already fucking up here.
I reckon it's a little bit of both, but I still would champion the idea that the best people in the world will always be the best people in the world.
Yes. So just to go on the question, I believe the best people, generally speaking, are using steroids. They just they know about testing. They know when they're going to be tested and whatnot. They just sort of work around it.
Especially in the sports or Olympic games where there's a lot of money involved. So for example, football, although anabolic steroids take the form of, we think muscles, big jack guys, all the rest of it, I'm under no illusion that top footballers are not using PEDs and not getting caught.
Interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say across the board everyone, whether that's football or otherwise. But
I think in any arena where there's a lot of money, I think it's being used.
Yes. And remember, you're going to have inside information about when you're going to be tested, whatever that is.
Masking agents, all the rest of it.
Exactly that.
They're always going to be ahead of the testers.
Exactly that.
There's going to be 1 or 2 steps ahead.
And I think I think one of the main reasons why a lot of records were not broken, I believe like 1 record was broken, but a lot of the time it's because it's basically the best athletes aren't doing it.
Yeah.
If everyone migrated to the enhanced games, we would see records. I do believe that, right?
Yeah. I believe as well, drug testing in top level sports now, what they do is, and I think this is really clever, and I think this is what they should have always done, is there are a lot of top level sports, they take a blood test and they take a urine sample and they keep it and it's frozen. So it can be retested later on.
Right, okay. So when they're clean.
So what can happen is say you get swimming, you get the top 3, you get gold, bronze and silver, a blood sample and a urine sample taken from all 3 of them and are held for say 3 or 4 years. Those samples, drugs may have advanced, testing methods may have advanced in those 3 or 4 years. So they can then go back and strip a title of those athletes later on. Okay. So 2 or 3 years might have passed and they think, I'm the best in the world. But actually they can go back later on in 2 or 3 years time and say, actually, no, you weren't the best because we've caught you taking X, Y, and Z drug.
So do you think some people let's say the companies, the powers that be, let's just say that.
Yeah.
Do you think that they have a vested interest in keeping some people clean? So there are some people they want to make an example of because they want to be seen that they're doing something. But then there's some people they want to champion.
Absolutely. Especially if it's a good poster boy or girl.
Exactly.
If they either make money or they paint the industry, the light, or whatever their marketing and the brands they are sponsored by, if they paint them in a good light, then I'm under no illusion that they will be let off. Let's think Conor McGregor, Anthony Joshua, I'm throwing big names out there, Cristiano Ronaldo. Who knows? But it would make sense for the people that are behind these industries, behind these federations, behind these companies, that these guys will make them insane amounts of money.
Yeah.
Would there potentially be instances where people would just look the other way or they just slip through the net? I reckon.
But I believe they will. This is just.
But I still believe they would probably still be the best in the world.
Their talent is undeniable.
Yeah.
But let me say this. This is absolutely a conspiracy theory. I have no fucking backing on this. But my opinion is that they do need to make examples of some people because they're too slack. Okay. So great example. One of the highest profile examples is John Jones.
Oh God, yeah.
John Jones, arguably the GOAT of mixed martial arts, right? Yeah. And he was so slack. He was partying. Yeah. He was a bit of a poster boy for not really caring, but being so good.
Recreational drugs,
so they thought to themselves, this guy's really fucking obvious that he's just not really giving a shit.
Yeah.
So they made an example of him, right? Yeah. Whereas if people are good and they toe the lines, play the game, they sort of go, You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Because realistically, they need these people. These businesses thrive on the Conor McGregors and the fucking John
Absolutely.
Jones. They need them.
Yeah.
They need them. They do.
I'll apologize for absolutely nothing.
So let's talk about on an ethical front as well, right? So if you are using steroids, I believe everyone should be able to use steroids, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're using steroids against someone who isn't using steroids, and let's say you're in a combat sport and you injure them, thoughts on that?
I think it's
Do you think you're a piece of shit?
Yeah, I do. I personally think in sport at top level there should be a tested and untested
on
federation.
everything.
Yeah, because and then the people who are going into the untested federations, well, they know what they're getting into. It's a level playing field. If you get hurt because you get cracked by someone who can punch so much fucking harder, then you know what you're getting yourself in for. You've signed the waivers, you've done the blood work, you can't argue about it. You all know the crack. Look at bare knuckle boxing. Those guys are jacked. In the bare knuckle world, they are clearly absolutely hammering the gear. But they all know the crack. And the thing is, in that sport, like most of the fights last less than 20 seconds.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's brutal.
Even
like,
glancing blows can end it, right?
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And they are all absolutely hammering the juice.
Well, do you not think that there's exceptions? Now, I don't know one way or another. Do you think it's... So, okay, example.
I think there should... I've got no problem with it if we had an untested and a tested federation for all sport. Because then the tested federation is absolutely like... It is rigorous. They do everything. But if you win and you're successful and you're a champion in whatever sport it is and you're a natural, you can own that. If you get found out to be caught and you're using drugs in a natural federation, you're a scumbag.
I agree on that one. I agree. And why would you want to win against a load of guys who are natural if you're using it? Wouldn't feel
you're
the
a
same,
scumbag. It's like men competing in women's sports.
Yeah, it's trigger warning. Right, listen. With bodybuilding, highest level, Olympia level bodybuilding, we all know they're using. We all know it and everyone accepts it. You cannot get to that level without it, yeah? So we all accept that.
Yeah.
But why don't we accept that with everything else? So like Usain Bolt, as an example, yes, he's a genetic freak. Of course he is. Fastest man in history, right? But if you suggest that he used, it's like, oh, no. But in bodybuilding, we accept it. And in other things, we don't accept it. No, he's just really good. Why is bodybuilding the only one that seems to be the one that you have to use steroids for? Why not other things where we're talking about the elite of the elite of the elite?
This is going to annoy me because my brain's not got the capacity to think of the answer to that yet.
I'm
going to go home tonight and I'm going to know the answer.
Now, listen. I'd say my theory is that we like to live in this delusion. We like to imagine that there are just these people out there that are just great. And they are. They fucking are. But we, like, the average person likes to think that they didn't cheat or they didn't use performance enhancers. But I think that anyone with half a fucking brain cell, you know, if you want to be elite of the elite, you're using, right? I think we can accept that. But for some reason, people like to live in the delusion. I don't know. And I think as well, the average person doesn't really know what they're talking about when it comes to steroids either. So, you know, you ask someone's opinion on, they don't really know. They have a really strong opinion on it, but they don't really know what the fuck they're talking about.
People who don't understand will shoot it down. I feel like I can and you're the same as well. I feel like I can speak in a very balanced way. I can see the pros and cons. You'll never hear an advanced guy who's assisted ever badmouth a natural dude. You get a lot of natural dudes badmouthing a lot of the assisted guys. And what's really interesting when you get a lot of natural guys who eventually cross the bridge and become enhanced.
The bridge.
Yeah. They often realize, because I think they think the good natural guys think they're going to turn into a Mr. Olympia when they do their first cycle. They're going to do 12 weeks of some Anavar and testosterone. And they think, oh my God, you guys who are enhanced, I'm going to show you. And then they do their first cycle and they realize, oh fuck, it actually doesn't make that much difference.
A little bit underwhelming, right?
A little bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they make a huge difference, but they don't. They do in terms of your performance and your recovery, but building that kind of muscle mass, like, it takes years and years and years, and you very quickly realize that.
I seem to remember Larry Wills did a test. He did a test where he tested his numbers when he was blasting versus when he was on like just TRT.
Yeah.
And there was like a 10 to 15% discrepancy, which is certainly significant.
Yeah.
But I think people think it's like 100%.
Yeah.
People think they're going to like double.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the truth.
I find for me, the main two things is when I'm on, I can train longer during a session like I can get to the end of my session, my strength numbers will last much longer. So like during across an hour and a half or 2 hours, I'm more pumped, I'm more vascular, there's more fullness, my stamina, my endurance is better.
I'm going to kick back.
Go on.
How pumped and how vascular you are is to do with body fat.
There's that too.
Yeah, I don't believe. I reckon.
But
so EQ makes you vascular. Yeah,
but
get fat and then put EQ in. See how vascular. You get.
Yeah, for sure. But
so that's what I'm saying.
But I still think I'd be bubblier on cycle. I can see it.
We've done this test, James.
Oh.
We've done this test, James. It made no fucking difference. You can't tell that you're bubblier. No way. I'm calling bullshit.
It's bubblier.
Bullshit.
It's bubbly.
No, so
in your recovery, like so for me, I've been on a cruise. Obviously, I'm not off 300 megs a test. That I'm more sore off sessions now, and as soon as I go on cycle, the soreness is gone.
I will hold you to that, and I need you to be honest because I don't believe it's that big of a difference.
I could kick my ass way harder on cycle and recover and go again.
I still be getting records on 300 test. I just don't see it, and my recovery is just the same. So even when I use growth hormone or not as well, I get injured. When I'm on BPC 1 for 7, I get injured still.
But my argument to that is, I think genetically, I'm a normal dude. Sure. I think genetically, you're elite in that aspect. I think from a strength point of view, I think you are. I think you're genetically elite. You were always strong.
Yes.
Whereas I could get strong, and I knew how to get there, but I wouldn't be naturally strong. But I could get there.
I've never been called genetically elite. This is it. I appreciate that.
You are though.
When I was younger, I was certainly quite strong when I didn't look like I should be.
Most guys your height wouldn't be able to do what you do with your squats, your bench, and your deadlift numbers.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Respectively as well, like in your earlier years when you weren't as big.
I was stronger pound for pound then, like
exactly. And there's not many guys that can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take that.
I feel like I speak on behalf of the guys who are like normal genetics. I feel like that, and I feel like that's why I can feel more when I'm on and when I'm off. And that's why I notice things like growth hormone and all the rest of it, because I feel that enhancement is like an enhancement. Whereas for you, I just think, meh. You could be on 500 megs a test or 200 megs a test, and I think you'd feel the same.
I feel identical.
That's what I mean. Whereas for me, I'm like, I can feel the difference in every department.
I guess neither of us will ever be, well, I'll never know how you feel. You'll never know how I feel.
No.
So I guess I'll take your word on it. But we did do the test, and you did.
We did the MPP test, and I got it fucking well wrong.
Okay, this actually takes me to the final point before we call time. Right, the final point is, I think a lot of people misjudge steroids and they misjudge even whatever, and I think it actually makes people misjudge bodybuilders. Yeah. So like the public perception of bodybuilders, I think is a certain way. I
think it's terrible.
Isn't it just?
I think it's terrible, mate.
Get out your violins for this one, by the way. Get out your violins.
I think it's terrible. I think. Well, we were growing out of the era of our dads were kind of like the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, like all the guys. Yeah, all the guys. And I think now every industry picks on bodybuilders. I think we are the target.
Picks on, elaborate.
I just think like, I don't know, like, strength athletes will go, well, we're stronger than you. You'll get boxers going, oh, well, you can't fight.
I get that. We're glorified beauty pageant.
100%. And it's like, but that's like that's like us saying to you, right, we'll do a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine going up to a boxer saying, all right, come on, let's do some barbell rows and see who can win.
100%.
Like, of course we're going to fuck him. He's never done it before. Yeah, it's weird. But people associate muscles with strength and fighting.
100%. But I still think bodybuilders will always be like the trophy guys to beat. It's like, oh, I beat him.
Yes.
It
looks good to beat.
Right. So we're always the target. We're always painted in a bad light. And then along with that, I don't think there are a lot of guys, and I'm not a big fan of bodybuilders because most of them, they are a lot of the time they are dudes with massive insecurities on a load of steroids, and all of a sudden they've now got confidence in this personality that is not themselves.
I think he's talking about me.
Yeah. And then they're just not painting themselves in a good light. Whereas I am no different now to how I was when I was at school. I'm exactly the same.
Bro, we spoke about this on one of the pods.
But people will respect me totally differently and they'll treat me completely differently because of how I look. They will. And they'll do the same to you. And I'm like, inside, I am the same guy I was when I was like 18, 19. But people will completely treat me differently because of muscle.
So I'll say this. In person,
which is good and bad.
Yeah.
Like in some scenarios, you get respect, and you get respect of other guys who train. In other scenarios, it's a nightmare.
Right. So
it's a nightmare.
You're literally saying what I was about to say. That's it. Literally it. Yeah. I would say in person, I get supreme respect from males in person.
In person, online, wow.
Steroid juice head,
the keyboard warriors are cooking, mate. They're cooking.
It's true, man. It's true. In person, I don't really get anyone say something negative. There'll be fucking hell.
There's going to be someone in the comments on this YouTube video. And I'll call them out. I'll be like, no worries, this time, this place, come and say hello. We'll have a selfie.
As long as you're not a boxer.
Oh, it'll be fucking, mate.
Yeah,
there'll be crickets. There'll be nothing.
There'll be people hearing us talk and they'll dismiss our opinion because we're meatheads. And they'll also assume that we're thick.
Yes.
And they're correct.
Yes.
But they'll also assume plenty of other things about us, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's this negative cloud surrounding bodybuilders. And I think, I for one, I know you on a personal level.
Yes.
And it's amazing that you aren't just a boring fucking bodybuilder.
Most of them
I really mean that about
Most
you.
of them are. We know plenty of them.
Yeah. Naming no names. But we certainly know them, right? And it's nice.
That's why we do this podcast.
One of the reasons why we bonded was because we are people who bodybuild.
Yes.
We're not just bodybuilders who are fucking chicken and rice.
It's not the identity.
Yeah, man. But anyway, we're called Simon it. But one last thing, mate. Tell us about your t-shirt and what that represents, mate.
Fucking sweaty shirt. I would spin around. It says personal trainer.
Yeah, go on.
But my back is absolutely soaked. I don't know if you can see that.
What was that? That's posturing up.
So there is the guys at my gym, Stealth. I've got so many positive things to say about them. I've been there for 4 years now. And I am moving to a new gym, which is opening in Rochdale at the end of September. It's TMU, The Muscle Unit, MCR, Manchester, and it's Rob Taylor's gym and Nick Layton's gym. These guys are doing something which is, I'm going to use the word unprecedented, which is what all the politicians use. I am going to say this, so you've got it on camera. This will be one of the most impressive gyms, not just in the UK, but in Europe.
Wow.
It's Olympia approved. The amount of money being spent on all the machines, the fit out, is like something I've never seen in my life before.
Wow.
You've seen the gyms in Dubai. You've seen the gyms in America. This will give every single one of them a run for their money.
Wow.
It's going to have the best fit out. It's going to have the best people in it. And
this guy.
the team is amazing. This is like the Premier League of the Champions League of gyms. And that's all I'm going to say.
I'm sold. That sounds fucking... No, jokes aside, that sounds great, man.
Yeah.
And you are one of... how many PTs are going to be there?
So it's looking like there's going to be 8. 4 males, 4 males, 4 females, specializing in different fields. I'm the first. And I've got a little bit of a say on who else is going to be coming. There's a few people out there who know about this, but Rob and Nick are doing an incredible job. And I know quite a few guys who are working on the building site at the moment, and it's going to be insane, mate.
So Rochdale, and when's the open date?
So officially, the opening date is the 26th of September, 2026, which is the same day as the Olympia.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So will it be open on time? We'll find out, but there's going to be a huge opening party. Families, all the rest of it. It'll be bounce castles outside. This gym's going to have everything. Cafe, restaurant. It's going to have 7 different treatment rooms. We're going to have a podcast studio. We're going to have the equipment in oh my God, like I could list off all the top brands. There's nothing it won't have. There'll be a car wash outside. There's going to be an outside gym, a high rocks area. There's going to be oh my God, everything.
Sounds great.
Everything that you could want. It's a one-stop shop. It's there.
Well, mate, from me to you, congrats on that. Landing that is going to be a really good move for you.
It's going to be insane, mate.
Yeah, sounds fucking great. So yeah, 3 months until open date, and then
3 months.
That's it. Good to go.
Good to go.
Right. And on that bombshell, my friend.
What are we doing here? That was gay, wasn't it?
Nice, man. You're feeling a bit weak today, man. What's going on with that?
Did you hear that click? That was your hand. That was your hand.
No, it wasn't. It was yours.